finished. Hey, welcome everyone. It's Monday. We are now just 20 days out from our kickoff event of our GameCon 48V, which we are so wildly excited about. And in between that, we've got the training magazine, the 45th annual training magazine in Orlando, which we're doing a pre-con session there for 2 days on gamified and game-based learning. And then we have our expo hall booth where we're doing, can you aim better than a stormtrooper game? And we've got the dark side match-a-mo. We got Jello shots and Wookiee cookies, and we're just so excited. And then after we come back from that, we're doing a thinking in and out of the box certification with Jimbo Clark from Taiwan, one of our colleagues, and then we roll into GameCon. So February is just packed full with one exciting event after the next. And along the way, we're doing these pre-conference micro sessions, which I am just delighted that Brit is on with us today. So I met Brit through one of our master craftsmen, Chuck Sigmund, and they were working together at Microsoft. And Brit was brought in to do the program management for gamification at Microsoft. And as she accepted that position, she started some really fun ways to get more people involved with gamified and game-based learning and just the exploration of what it can do. So we want to talk about that today. But Brit, you look adorable as always. So excited to have you here. We got to hang out. We didn't get to hang out in June as we intended to, but we did at TechLearn in Austin this past fall. So Brit, welcome to the call, and thank you so much for taking your time to be with us today. Really excited
for having me. Here. Yeah, I always wish we were in person, but it's good to be with the Sententia family anytime you can.
That's so good. So Brit, I want to talk about, you were brought into Microsoft to be the program manager for gamification. That sounds like a huge, like when I think of that, I'm like, I don't know if I'm qualified for that, right? Like that's a pretty big. So what does that role look like for you?
Yeah, so it actually started with just the Microsoft Store department and then has now, expanded from there. But Microsoft Store has call centers all around the world, and they're supporting all of you, right? The customers of Microsoft. And they knew that there was so much you have to know because there's so many products, there's so many subscriptions, so many services that we offer, that they needed a way to help the call center employees be able to retain that information. And I mean, all of us on this call probably love playing games, and it's a good way of actually having that stuff massaged into your mind. So they wanted to pick up gamification, but they really didn't have, I won't say they didn't have the skill set. Let's just say they didn't have the time to do it off of the employees they already had. So they did look to add a role for that position. But I served my time. I did it as a contract role for a year before it actually became a Microsoft role. And now it's been, oh my goodness, 6 years, I believe.
Yeah.
And we are, expanding into the advertising side of the business and then so forth. So again, to come in and decide, is it going to be a program, or is it gamifying just the one-off little projects that you have in learning and things like that, and really putting program management skills behind it.
That's really good. And one of the things that has been instrumental with Brit's leadership at Microsoft is a group called Gab. And for the life of me this morning, I couldn't think, what is Gab? I mean, I got it between then and now, but I'm like, I know the G is gamification, but it's Gamification Advisory Board. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, it is. And honestly, we do just Gab. So you can just remember that we get together to talk a lot. And again, like I said, when I was hired, I was one of a kind. And so even my manager is like, dive into worldwide learning at Microsoft and find people that are doing this to talk to, because I don't know what you're talking about, and you're really passionate and you're having a great time, but we don't understand you in this gamified learning, game-based learning language. So I reached out, I tried to find friends, and in the meantime found Chuck, who's in the Sententia family, as well as several other that now master craftsmen and things. And I said, let's get together. And so it started by working on each other's projects, which was big. And we still do that. We actually did 17 Microsoft projects together last year, just to make sure that creativity is going, right? Because, you're always better with more minds together. But then we expanded and I'm like, all right, you want to learn more? Let's get certified in something together. And we've had more than 35 people get Sententia certified and they're working their way up through the 3 levels of that program. We've done Lego serious training and things through a company called Centrical that has a gamified learning platform. So we've done some of the certification together. And then my most favorite is bringing in all of you from out there in the world that are doing gamified learning things to come and talk to us as industry experts. So Carl Kopp and Monica herself, Jonathan has come and talked to us. Bernardo running the Blue Rabbit platform has, Valerie with a Y, who's super cool and always has something fun. So I had to wear my hat today. People like that come in and they just share their expertise so that Microsoft isn't siloed in one way of doing gamification. We can make sure that we keep growing and learning with the industry.
And that's one of the things, again, I think I've said it every call so far, but from my experience, and I haven't had every experience, but from my experience, everyone I've met in the gamification genre is open to sharing ideas and discussing and debating and exploring together. And that's, in fact, we met a colleague because you invited me to jump into a GAB because you thought we would like the group from Launch 57, and we are now partnering with them. So here's this, this wayward connection between Microsoft GAB and Sententia, and here's this group from Canada doing some great things. Maybe you'd like to see them. And that's the kind of openness and sharing that keeps us all sharp and gets us exploring, well, I hadn't thought about that before like that. And that's really interesting. Now, I know I got to be a part of, because of GAB, there were 3 programs that were, there was a plan developed. The programs weren't taken, they were taken to a low resolution prototype, but they weren't deployed. But this past year, and the quality of these initial dives into gamifying a program were through the roof. I mean, just the level that they have accelerated to because of what GAB is doing within Microsoft, and people from outside of Microsoft sharing in that connection. So it's really huge. So I asked the question, and so let me see what your thoughts are. If you were like the chief learning officer or the chief experience officer or someone, the person with the purse strings making the decisions about how to do training, if they were like, what is this gamification you speak of? What would be the one thing that you think that every chief learning officer, engagement officer needs to know and understand? What would you say that is about gamified, game-based learning?
Yeah, I look at the success that I have had, and we're able to pull metrics and show business impact and everything. And it all comes back to the program management. So I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think that's the difference that you need to start with. You can't just have creativity and a love for game-based learning and gamification certifications out the wazoo, which I now have under my bucket. You also have to have program management skills. You need to strategically release these game elements. You can't just have surprise and delight every day and think it's still going to be a surprise. It's not, right? So you've got to spread it out, and you've got to make sure that the game mechanics that you're going to use aren't going to be overwhelming, right? So that comes into program management of looking at it. You also can't just keep releasing content without checking, is it still relevant and things like that. So again, it's either one person or a team of people, it can go either way, that are having dedicated time to really focus on your gamified learning program. Again, whether it's one-off game-based trainings or a whole gamified learning program, you've got to have your standard program management tactics put behind it in order to be successful, and make sure that, full cycle, you go back at the end, you check your impact, you come back, do we need to do it again? Is there reinforcement training that needs to launch? Blah, blah. It's a whole cycle. So definitely having a program manager.
And I think that's so key also because of some of the experiences that have come out of the designs that have actually been deployed within your organization. And I know what happens is, and it's happened to us, is that like the program manager has to be the one that's helping to navigate the L&D department even, because like training managers will look at it and say, not really that impressed with it. And then meantime, it has a huge impact with the targeted audience, the audience that the program was designed for. It's like the program manager has to be navigating those kind of shark-filled waters of, well, I don't know about this gamification thing. And then, of course, when they see the actual metrics, it's how can we do more of this? Okay. And then the program manager has to navigate those waters of, yes, we can. And there's always this time, money, design, all of that has to come into play. It's not something that just materializes overnight. So it's a worthy undertaking, Brit. What a great position to be in. Kind of a tightrope role you walk there.
It's awesome. It really is. Knowing that I wake up and create training that's helping someone's job be easier, right? So I'm not doing it for myself. It's for all the employees that are out there trying to memorize this content. And it's for you all as well, the customers, knowing that if they know their content, they're confident, they give you a good customer experience, right? So it's that full cycle, like I'm waking up and getting to create these games and helping people memorize stuff, and they feel more confident and eager in their role. So anyway, if you're listening and you're wondering, I don't know if we should do this, I don't know if it works, I'll let you know it's working. It's working for adults. I know that's always a big question. It works for kiddos too. I go out and I teach gamified study habits as well for kids. So it works for all ages. It does not matter, but get out there and just get started. And of course, you can always reach out. I'm happy to help.
That's really good. And she's just a great connector. She connects you with people, and she also is a great source of information. So really good. Tell us quickly, what was that? I know you just did something with a group of students, and it looked fascinating. It looked tough. It looked really super tough to me and fascinating. What were you doing?
Okay, so my daughter is homeschooled, which is like a lot of people are like, how in the world do you find time? But you'll get to know that I just do in my life. But she has a program that she goes to because I need to work and help you during the day. So someone has to watch her. And in that, it's a bunch of elective classes. And they have a high school group. And they were talking about how this group, like, because it's a homeschool life, so your parents are kind of in charge and elective people are kind of in charge, like how in the world do you process it? And I thought to myself in high school, like I had no time management. I had none of this, right? So I just went in and showed them how to apply some game mechanics behind their studying habits and putting time to it. We found apps that actually shut down their phone, so it's not a distraction. But then for the ones that wanted to use phone, we found apps that they could give themselves points for completing work and things like that. And we did a no-tech version as well, where they could get point systems. And they actually chose not to have any of their grades in the class count toward their point system. It was more like, I organized a homework play day. I took notes for the peers. That was how they did their little point system. And they put like $5 in, and someone went away with 40, someone went with 35, and the rest got like $5 each. So it was really cool to help them kind of form a system that bonds them as well. Since they, some of them might have siblings at home, some don't. You homeschool, we have to find ways to socialize. But so anyways, go into the program and helping them gamify their study habits, learn time management at the same time, and really kind of prioritizing too, because it's hard. It's hard for us as adults.
It is. Yeah, it definitely is. And what's so great about that is that, again, it's focused on the behaviors that enable good grades, right? It's not about the grades, because I don't want to bring anything to that. I want it to be on the behaviors that enable us to succeed, to prioritize, to feel like we have that autonomy, that sense of control. It's my choices that will help me to be successful. So really fun. I saw the picture on social media and I thought, oh, she's very brave. I like 8, 10, 12-year-olds, and I like adults. I'm not sure how well I do with that step in between there. So that's really good. Very good.
It's so fun. And I tell you, they had questions for me I couldn't answer, but don't we all face that on every day?
Right.
If they hear you work for Microsoft and they're like, could you do XYZ for Minecraft? I'm like, I'm not even on that team. I'm trying to teach them how a corporation works. We all have jobs. I can't code,
Yeah. Sorry. You don't know? Don't you know that person? Yeah, that's great. Right. That's really good. Well, Britt, thank you so much for being here. And I hope that you can hang out. I know that you have just tons of spare hours in your schedule, but at GameCon 48V, we will be going, and you are, of course, welcome to be there. And I know that people will want to connect with you and ask you questions about Gab and how they could even set up something like a gamification advisory board in their organization. And what's really interesting is these are people from, like, there's a wide variety of jobs that are involved with Gab. And it's just people who are interested in exploring gamified, game-based. Yeah.
It started as mine and Chuck's, like 14 people, and we're over 100 people now in the gamification board. And it was, last time I checked, I think it was more than 12 different departments. I can confirm at least 12. So as you know, any big corporation has a Microsoft Store. You come over here, you might have Xbox, you might have product line, whatever. So we're all over the company, which is also really cool, and global as well, which is really hard to schedule the right time. All my Gab watchers that are seeing this. But yeah, I'll definitely be at 48V and willing to talk and jump in. And plus, I want to hear all the rest of the speakers that you have.
Yeah, very good. All right. Well, thanks so much, Britt. It was a delight having you here, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks so much, everyone. Join us tomorrow. I forget who I'm interviewing tomorrow. Does anybody know? Let me check real quick. Hold on. Don't leave. Wait for it. I know I was really excited about it. Oh, I know, it's Mary Nunnally. And we have met through her work and her son. Actually, they do business together. So it's just like this family interwoven. So I get to talk with Mary tomorrow. So that'll be delightful. So, all right, everyone, we'll see you tomorrow. I believe we're in the evening tomorrow. Thank you so much, Britt. Hey, Alana, don't X out right away, Alana. I just want to talk for you a second. If you would just stay behind. All right. Thanks so much, everyone. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.